And we've been ranting and raving and teasing our guest for today, Friday, with somebody I was pretty excited to spend some time with. We've given you the lowdown, and we read the back of her baseball card, Greek.
Yeah, we got it.
Everything from a doctorate in human sexuality, a degree in French, which is what impresses us most.
Yes, very much.
Because you won Spin the Bottle 3 years running, I think.
Yeah, French division.
Right.
Yeah.
Dr. Sadie's a member of American Association of Sex Educators, Counselors, and Therapists, which is something that Greek needs in his life. And as we've really, really been impressed by, self-published author with more than 2 million books sold to date. 5 different books, from Ride 'em Cowgirl through Tickle My Tush. How are you there, Dr. Sadie?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, you guys. Really happy to be here.
Welcome in the penthouse. You know what she said? This is the nicest studio I've ever been in.
Wow. You should see the new one we're working on.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Okay, I got Greeked up in here.
Yeah. Before Greek got here, like, it was just all like plain, and he was like, I want granite on the countertops. He was on flat screen. I mean, this is a true story. He's like, I can't work unless it's nice, and the chairs and everything are all
You
him.
did a good job. They listened.
Thank you very much. Well, once in a while they listen. I like good, nice things, and I like a pretty view. So we have Franny.
She is a pretty view, I must say.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you are too. We have another one in the house,
Thanks.
which is nice.
Pretty
Yeah.
views in here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed our Franny cam, very, very appropriately placed, looking straight down Franny's cleavage.
Yes, basically.
So you're here to help us?
I'm here to help.
Yay.
That's right. Well, it's actually National Self-Pleasure Month.
Johnny told us earlier.
Yeah, I know most of the guys look at it as a year-long thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of women, too.
Very true.
But it actually started in 1995. You may know this.
Oh, I was
but
going to say, it only takes me a couple minutes. What do you mean year long?
The Surgeon
Hold on,
General,
kids.
when Jocelyn Elder, Surgeon General, worked for Clinton back in 95, she had suggested that self-pleasure be part of education curriculum in schools.
I'm sure Bill said,
No, he said, you're fired, is what he said. Yeah, so she literally got fired.
Wow.
And so the holiday of National Self-Pleasure Month was started in honor of her back in 95.
wow. Impressive.
Well, it's good medically, right? There's a number of benefits for it. Is there
Health
not?
benefits. Not
Sure.
only is it great for your sex life, it helps women during that monthly time because it relaxes your body. You've got pleasure chemicals in your brain that are released, which it helps you sleep better.
Sure.
But mostly, I always encourage all women to know their own bodies because it helps them in their love lives.
Sure.
Most guys don't know how to touch women right.
Oh,
Okay, and women don't know how to touch themselves in too many situations. So I say, well, if you can't even give yourself the big O, how will you expect your guy to figure it out?
So
Because
true.
it's complicated. Our
It's very
anatomy is,
confusing.
yeah, it can be.
I'm a lot into prostitution. So.
he pays him to
Well, that should be pretty easy then. You just lay back and they do the work. Okay,
Kidding.
and they have a great time every time.
that's right.
They tell you that at least.
Are you a generous lover?
My generous lover. It depends on my mood and what I got going on.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a big gambler, so if I got a game going on, I want to, do what I have to do.
Right. Get back to the real business.
Go watch the game. If you don't mind.
Johnny and Franny are the lovers. Yeah,
Johnny's probably a lover. I could tell.
Oh.
Are you a lover?
Oh, very much so, yeah.
Yeah,
And I
you-
am a very generous lover. Greek
That's
can tell you.
together 10 years.
That doesn't just happen, Dr. Sadie.
that's so funny.
And I've never had a headache.
I am a firm believer. No, not with me. I am a firm believer that if you allow the woman to be relaxed, comfortable, and to reach the conclusion first, you'll be way better off than I think most guys' mentality of, well, let me just knock this out and be done.
Totally. Always. Guys ask me all the time, how do I get my wife to make love with me more? We don't have it enough. And I say, well,
I have it too much.
yeah, I can tell you. Yeah.
Yeah,
you're a
I
busy
try to-
man.
I
You're a busy
try
man,
to
Greek.
Poor Greek.
But I ask the guys, I say, well, are you giving her a reason to want to do that with you more? I mean, are you pleasing her? Are you going that extra mile? Are you focusing on her pleasure? How much time are you spending foreplay to get her body warmed up? Is she even getting to the big O? And so sometimes they're like, well, I think I know what I'm doing. And I can tell. It's like, well, that's where, because it's like if you just become a generous lover and give to her and not even concentrate on yourself at all, because you'll have yours. There's no question the wind blows. You're ready to go, right? That's going to happen.
So true.
So it's really about focusing on the woman, because when you really can get her there and several times, that's when it comes back tenfold.
Of course. That's when she's going to want it more. I mean, you're absolutely right.
So
And
you got a doctorate in human sexuality. That's like the highest degree you can get, right? I mean, it is. Help me with this one, because this is something that I've stumbled through in my lifetime. And my wife's always like, "What? If a woman's feet are warm, does it make it easier for them to reach climax?"
Yes. You know why? Because anytime you're cold, you're not fully relaxed. You're cold and you're feeling an uncomfortable sensation that you don't want as part of the mix.
Right.
So make sure that your room is warm enough so that she can be fully relaxed and not have any other things like that distracting her. Because women, we have a lot going on in our heads. We're thinking about the laundry and are we picking up the kids yet? So anything you can do to alleviate any other things on her mind is going to be helpful.
I've never heard that before. Warm feet.
Oh, and I'm always like,
warm feet, warm hands, warm everything.
Let's put on some socks. She's like, I don't want to wear socks. I'm like, put on some socks.
They wear socks.
Trust me.
I want to be
Speaking of which, I'm hot right now. We were just looking for a coffee shop on the way here, and we went by the Rabbit Coffee Brewing Company. You guys familiar with Rabbit Coffee?
No.
We were on Google, and we're like, we want to get some coffee on the way to the show.
Yeah.
And we pulled up to their warehouse, to their brewing company, where they do the beans.
Oh, wow.
We walked in, we're like, hey, can we get a coffee? We're like, oh, this isn't a retail spot. And they're like, hey, well, we'll hook you up anyway. You're here.
Oh,
so
nice.
we had a great time. So we're amped up and we're hot. My feet are warm right now, Johnny C. My feet are ready.
nice. I'm going to thumb through your books over here real quick.
I'll thumb through, but gently. Let me tell you a trick. So many guys, I have one of my books is called the Mystery of the Undercover. The word rhymes with Dolores.
Okay.
The pleasure button.
Yes.
Okay, so the word starts with C. So most men touch way too hard, and you could probably back me up on this, Franny.
Yeah.
So if you had an eyelash stuck in your eye and you pulled your lower eyelid down to gently rub it out, how gently would you be touching your eyeball?
But pretty gently.
Pretty gently.
Yeah.
That's where you should start when you're with women. That
Pulling
gently.
out that eyelash.
You're pulling out her eyelash.
How's this working
How's
for
that feel for you? Does that do anything?
Or blowing her eyes out. Yeah.
Put on some socks.
Are you there? Because I just heard from this professional today that if I pull out an eyelash,
Pull out your
Dr.
eyelashes.
Sadie said if I rip your eyelashes out.
I don't have to take you to dinner tonight. I'm just saying.
But that's actually really, really great advice, because you think about it. I mean, just think about the pressure you put on there. And I'm totally with you. I think a lot of guys don't understand that it's that sensitive,
that gentle, because we have 8,000 nerve endings on the tip of where our pleasure spot is, compared to you guys who have 4,000. So just imagine
twice as many?
Yes,
We always get screwed.
Always.
double entendre.
Unintentional.
Definitely unintentional.
8,000, huh?
Yeah, and we've got on my website ticklekitty.com. I've got about 100 cherry-picked sex toys and a lot of them are for women's pleasure on the pleasure spot, but there's also a whole section for men. Have you guys ever tried pleasurizers for men?
No.
I'll admit I have.
I bet against the Red Sox sometimes. But I never.
Damn you, Kurt Schilling. I have. It's nothing that I don't know, really worked for me, though.
Really?
Necessarily.
I have to talk to a lot of men who love them because it provides a different stimulation than what you're used to.
True.
You know, your 5 digits.
Right.
And
I
so
normally,
variety
I'll
is
sit on
fun.
my hand for a little while to change it up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Get it hot?
Make it numb. Make it numb.
Make it numb.
Call it the stranger.
He did know about the warm feet, so I don't want to argue with him.
The stranger. As long as you can still grip, right? Not too frozen.
Oh man, that's good.
But I've been down that path a couple times. I'm not. I know some guys, just from talking experience in 41 years, feel that toys in the bedroom aren't necessarily an aid. They're almost a replacement. And I don't think that's the right perspective by any stretch of the imagination. And I feel there's a major intimidation to go into stores or even go on your website, ticklekitty.com. I think there's, I don't know, a major apprehension that goes with it, even still today in 2016.
There is, although thankfully over the years, a lot of guys are realizing that, hey, toys will never replace a warm, hot body that can kiss you and say, I love you and take out the garbage. Let's face it.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
I got one of
toys, you got one of 3.
But if you make one that takes out the garbage, we're screwed.
Exactly. And I think they're on their way of doing that.
You know?
I don't know if you've seen these robots.
So toys are really just enhancement products. It's used to mix things up in the bedroom because how many of us are in long-term relationships and you get into the same, I don't want to call it a rut, but you get into your routine, right? And everyone's saying, well, how do I mix it up? How do I get it exciting again? Well, the magical answer is you got to do new things.
Yeah.
And so sex toys are an easy thing.
Choke them?
Sure.
What are you talking about?
That's Johnny C for the tape, everybody.
Yeah, so the guys out there don't, and here's the other thing. When you guys finish too early, girls, we're just getting warmed up at that point. So there's a mix match when it comes to timing.
Yeah, that can be a
so
problem.
so if you want to really please your lover, you want to be able to keep going. So if you're finished, you pull out one of these little pleasure products, and then you can give her more pleasure, and she'll appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the great thing, though, about going to your website, like you said, a lot of guys are really apprehensive. And I know, like, if you go to an adult store, you see them kind of creeping around, hoping nobody sees them in there. You order online. I mean, it's not like it's going to show up saying sex toy on the box.
Exactly.
Yes, it does.
No, not from my side. Discreet packaging.
Yeah.
No. And that's what's cool, too. You get online together with your partner, and you guys look and talk, and what do you think about that? And you don't have to get the kind of toys that men are intimidated by, and those are those other ones. Yeah, he's holding up his fist and his arm. But you get something that's used topically
Johnny's
on her.
the third base coach.
How's
Third
Raven
base.
Greek in?
Yeah.
Still home.
Something great to start with would be a couple's toy. So if
Yeah.
you look in my couple's toy section on Tickle Kitty, there's rings that have vibrators attached to it. So he's getting pleasure while you're making love, and she also has the vibrating bullet that gets her pleasure spot where she needs it. And so now you're using a toy that enhances both of you at the same time. So there's nothing to be intimidated about.
I'm very
both your pleasure.
I'm a very selfish lover. I actually wear the bullet on the underside.
You can do that.
Yeah, but so she's like, "Well, you're doing it wrong." I'm like, "No, it's for me. It's mine. It's for me."
That's because you're holding the other bullet against her, so you could use two bullets.
Yeah, true. Good point.
Yeah.
You got a camera in my room?
How popular are, and here it's my secret screaming, the Panty. I've seen people have them, seen people use them, and I think that's fun actually for couples to have because it's almost like they have control over what's happening.
It's so fun.
Are they top sellers?
Top sellers. She's there. It's a Panty that has a vibrating feature inside, and it's remote controlled. So you have her put those on, and you go out to a bar, to a club, to dinner, and you can be buzzing her from afar, and you'll see her facial reaction. No one else knows that you're flirting in that way, so it's kind of exciting. It's fun. It's,
I do
it's
that with
foreplay.
cash. I put up a stack of money.
Cash that gets her going. The other one that is on the site is called the Club Vibe. And this one is super high tech. You go out to a nightclub, and the remote control responds to the bass in music. So if you're at a concert or a bar, it'll be vibrating her to the music. Or you can turn the function and talk into it. And based on the depth of your voice, or you can just turn it on vibrate mode and control it from that.
Yeah.
Super cool, high tech, modern.
What's the price point on that?
That one, I think, $79.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's worth the fun.
Yeah, reasonable. Me and the wifey bought some right around the time we got married, so a number of years ago here, and so much anticipation and excitement, and we got it home and the thing didn't work. And you ain't returning that stuff.
That happens.
Yeah.
That happens. Well, we exchange things if there's if it's defective. That happens. A lot of them are manufactured in China.
Yeah.
But we have some that are manufactured in Japan and Germany. Super modern motors that are pretty cool.
Well, it's good to know that if you go to ticklekitty.com that you can return it and be like, it's a malfunction on this one. Yeah, that one right there you're holding, that's from Germany, right?
This is from Germany. This is called the Womanizer. Did you try this, French?
Yes.
Franny has been down that road, yes.
Did it?
Do I hear that?
Okay. Yeah. So let me pass this to you. So this Womanizer here is a revolutionary toy. I've been in the business a long time, and I haven't seen anything like this.
I love how you handed the Womanizer right to Greek.
Looks like electric razor.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Electric razor, an otoscope, a pipe, however you want to say it.
Yeah, because it is quite confusing when you look at it. It looks like nothing you've ever seen before. So yeah, I mean, I flipped through all the paperwork, the manual. I made sure everything was right and perfect with it.
So this toy has a revolutionary tech. It's the air suction technology in that tip. So Johnny, see if you put that against your nose, you'll feel it a little bit. And it's brand new, by the way.
Whoa. Thank God.
Thank God.
You're never getting this off my
She's
nose.
done 27 radio stations.
So that air suction simulates. What do guys like the most in the bedroom? It's a 2-letter word, starts with a B.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bedtime.
So that simulates the same thing for the woman's pleasure spot.
Now, do you ever do like charades and stuff? Because you're doing just letter thing. You're very quick with that.
Hey, I'm radio friendly.
I can see it. Okay, here we go. First word.
So this Womanizer here, this is the key. 52% of the test group that tried this achieved the Big O in less than 60 seconds.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I had to try it to make sure that is true. And it worked for me. I don't know. Did that work for you pretty quickly?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost
9
like the
hours.
cheater court. 9 hours.
She was late the next day for work.
It's like, hold on, guys, I'm busy.
She will, yeah. Yeah, we're calling in sick when you get this toy.
Almost. Yeah, we go on at 10. She came in like 10:30. We're like, all right, we get it.
That is specifically the toy that I did tell Johnny, give this to your wife. She will not be disappointed.
Now I have a question for you. How did you get involved in all this from the very beginning?
High school, I was nicknamed Little Dr. Ruth.
You were nicknamed what?
Little Dr. Ruth.
Yeah.
Really?
Back in the day, I was just that friend that was uninhibited. I had a lot to share, and I was the sex advice giver for all my friends.
Okay.
You probably know girls like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's that one.
Yep.
And so I would teach my friends all about their bodies and how to self-pleasure. Because they were telling me they'd never achieved that big ending, and they weren't having a good time in the bedroom. I was having a good time, and I said, gosh, I want you to have that fun too, so let me tell you how to go figure it out. And so time and time again, I taught women how to achieve the big O.
So you parlayed into a whole big career.
Yep. And then years later, I ended up writing my first book, Tickle Your Fancy, A Woman's Guide to Self-Pleasure, and then wrote 5 more, and
Wow, that's
went
fantastic.
off.
Well, and self-published too. Like you grinded this out. You went out and pushed this. You did this all on your own.
Hustled
Yeah,
is
that's
the word
great.
I use. Thank you.
You believe in yourself and you have a passion.
I
Passion,
did.
that's right.
I had taught so many girls, and I thought I was giving them all the pleasure. Like, I want them to have a big O, and I know it's so great.
I know
but
where you're
really,
coming from.
the gift of giving,
I feel you.
the gift of giving, and how I felt when they told me that they were successful and how happy they were, and I was like, okay, run along and be free and explore now. That gave me so much pleasure that inspired me to want to help more people, and that's where it led to.
That's
Very
great.
cool.
Now, do you have
Yeah.
anybody who ever calls you on a regular basis, say friends or celebrity or something, and says, hey, I need help?
Oh
or-
yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I'm happy to give advice.
That's nice.
Yeah,
You
and
don't charge them?
No.
Need an
No.
agent? Maybe there's some money we could be making there.
Do you have a question for me, Greek?
Do I have a question for you?
I got a question for. Is it your husband or boyfriend?
Boyfriend.
Boyfriend. I got a question for him.
Did he come over here?
How are you doing?
I need to come over by the mic then.
Hello, John. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
So, how intimidating is your first time getting in between the sheets with Dr. Sadie over here when you know what she's capable of?
Yeah, I was a deer in headlights. I was terrified.
Yeah?
Yeah. I had to. I just had to relax and get out of my head and enjoy myself. So that was all I could do. But it definitely took some time to build up my confidence.
Couple beers, couple glasses of wine,
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you realized, oh, okay, I'm okay at this. She seems to be enjoying herself, and I really shouldn't have psyched myself out like that.
Exactly. She was really generous lover and knew how to approach me because it was a new relationship. So she was really smart about how to, kind of weave things in and warm it up. So
Well, she's a doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll Google that.
Yeah, that was after the first date.
How did you guys meet?
Mutual friend.
Oh, that's nice.
We both have kids, and we had a mutual friend that knew us both, and she knew that, hey, you guys would go well together, so she set us up.
So when you met her, did you know what she did?
I did not.
See, that probably was a good thing, because that might have intimidated people.
Exactly, because I was just being relaxed, and I was, hey, I'm meeting a really cool chick. Yeah, so I was actually, we met at her office, and her friend was like, hey, she wrote this and she showed me the book. And I was like, oh, I recognize that because my previous girlfriend had that book.
Oh, nice.
And
Oh,
I was like,
that's funny.
oh, wait, that's you on the cover. That's you right there. Wow. And that's, a little head trip.
Sure.
No pun intended.
But I'm sure it was better that you didn't know. Like when
Walking
you-
in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's better. Because a lot of times people get thoughts of somebody or they think they know.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it could hurt you for, having a great relationship.
Yeah.
'Cause
Exactly.
some people get intimidated.
And Dr. Sadie, do you find that, when it was coming to dating and stuff like that, and men found out what you did you find that they were intimidated by you?
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
whenever I had the opportunity, I would never tell. If I met a new guy, I wouldn't tell him what I did. I'd just say I
did the
counsel
same thing.
couples on relationships.
Yeah.
And,
Exactly.
Yeah.
They want to listen to the show.
They want an autograph.
Exactly. You got an 8x10 glossy creek getting out of the bends. No, we're out.
I got to go to Passover.
right. Yeah, I would usually not tell them what I do because I didn't want them to have any judgments or preconceived notions. I just want them to know me for who I was without that, right? And so, but then the guys that would know, and if I got introduced as a sex therapist, you would have the guys that'd be really intimidated and too shy. And then those weren't right for me anyway. And then you'd have the guys be like, oh, I could take her on and show her a thing or two. Let me at her.
Jeez.
And yeah, and those guys weren't right for me either. So I had to find the happy medium, which is
Oh,
my man over there.
That's great.
He's a doll.
Congratulations.
Well, I'm sure it's a constant evolution. You don't always know everything, so even together you may find some things and be like, wow, that's right. We're going to have to perfect that. That was pretty all right.
Absolutely. And every time you have a new lover, you have to start fresh at square one.
Oh, I hate
because,
that.
yeah. Yeah, there's more work for you, Greek.
That's why he keeps going back to, he calls it boomerang because he hopes it comes back and it's familiar.
but it's true. Every person is different and likes different things and is aroused differently.
Yeah.
Men and women. So you want to start fresh, and that's where communication comes in.
Yes.
You have to ask for feedback. And if you're uncomfortable talking while you're making love, do it outside the bedroom. Over lunch.
We're talking with Dr. Sadie Allison. Can you hang out another second?
Yeah, please.
Perfect. We are lucky enough to spend another bit of time with Dr. Sadie Allison, and thank you for rolling over with us once again.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
This is the Mrs. Everything really in the sex pleasure world, because you have your own website, you have your own line of pleasure toys, you got your own line of lube, you got 5 books that you self-published, you got a doctorate in human sexuality. Like, where do you stop?
I'm not stopping.
No?
Nope.
Well, stop till you get enough, huh?
Well, I'm actually thinking about getting...
A movie?
Not a movie.
No?
Oh.
Well, there's not any sexologist that I know of out there that's talking about sex and cannabis and the benefits of that and how it can relax people, and people use it just like you would have some wine before you're going to go and get frisky. Cannabis can do that. It does things in the brain that really help women and men relax. So there's not anyone really I'm thinking about writing a book about that.
Cool. It's interesting.
I think that would be highly consumed. I do.
How about you write a book about me, Doc?
I bet I can. Let's see, what would the chapters be called? Greek and Greek again?
I think you're catching up.
Greek and Greek?
She's a quick learner.
You're a quick learner.
And more Greek. And Greek the conclusion.
It's all Greek to me.
Greek on Greek. Greek with Greek. The Greek version of Greek.
But do you ever want to delve into maybe the TV world, stuff like that? I mean, because you have the look to do it. You obviously have the knowledge to do it. You talk about things that people want to hear.
Thanks. Yeah. I've had offers before, just the timing didn't work out. I live in San Francisco. A lot of the shows are in LA.
Yeah.
But I'm certainly open to it. Maybe the next opportunity might be the right one.
You never know.
Yeah.
It'd be good if there was a show and then they would pan to you and you would tell them really what's really going on.
Would you come on it?
Of course. You pay me, I'm there.
If you've learned anything in the last 40 minutes.
I'm all about the cash. I'll be at your house tomorrow, clean your pool. You'll be on a plane. I'll be right next to you. Hey, Doc. How you doing?
Yep.
You thought I was kidding, didn't you?
Come on, I thought you were my friend.
I am your friend.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll be a better friend if you pay me.
Gotcha.
But don't have them babysit.
Oh. They'll be ran away by the time I get home.
No.
Like, where's the kids?
They left. Now, how many children do you have?
2. 10 and 13. 2
Wow.
girls.
That's
very
great.
interesting, and we're finding that we have to have these important sex discussions way sooner than you used to, because all the kids with their smart devices, the statistic is that kids by the time they're 9 are seeing hardcore porn.
Wow.
It's very sad and scary and
so
upsetting.
young.
I've never seen hardcore porn.
Yeah, right.
I'm serious.
He's 70 now.
I'm 71.
That is so scary. That is such a young age.
I know, and it's very upsetting. Like, I've always been open and communicative, and I don't have an issue talking about these hard subjects like a lot of people do. And I'm even finding myself, like, I'm upset that I even have to be talking about some of these activities with my girls at the ages they're at, because they're really too young to really understand it and know the difference between what porn is, which has its place.
Yeah.
But that's not real life. It's not how women want to be treated. And so, like, it's like I'm giving them all this information so they can understand it, but I'm biting my teeth because I don't want them to even have to be knowing this yet. But you have to.
Yeah.
We have no choice.
And so 2 girls. How about you, John? What do you got? Boys, girls?
They're the same ones.
Oh, same.
Same.
One hers, one mine.
Oh, all right. Wow, holy estrogen in that house, huh?
Yeah, blended family. And women, when they're all in the same house, the estrogen connects, and so the time of the month ends up all at the same time. Did you know that fact?
Oh, I have 2 sisters, and then my mom. That was our household. 4 women, and
the women's bodies somehow time it out,
Yep.
so it all kind of meets up, and so all the women in the house will have that time of the month at the same time.
Me and Greek have synced up over 10 years.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
we worked it out well. Tuesdays.
Tuesdays. Everybody leave. Everybody leave the house.
The first Tuesday of the month.
That might be your next book. Maybe you could do a book of how a parent could talk to their kids. You know, because I'm sure a lot of people have questions about that, apprehension, and maybe now you got to give me a piece, Doc.
Yep. Yeah. I thought about that one too.
It's our idea.
Yeah.
We just emailed it to ourselves.
Just saying. Put me on the back cover.
But is there do you believe is there a right time? I mean, does it depend on just each kid when to talk to them? Do you believe in a certain age that you have to, or?
Yeah, well, it's usually the rule of thumb,
Yeah.
well, even before that, because they're asking questions about how our baby's made and where do they come out of your belly button. And so, it's usually age appropriate.
Okay.
And so there's certain things you want to kind of share with them, but also the biggest indicator is what the questions are that they're asking you. So depending on their circle of friends or if they have older siblings, they're hearing stuff that you don't even realize they're hearing.
What if your 10-year-old walks out holding the womanizer and she's like, "What's this?" How do you handle that?
I'd have to tell her because you don't want to
Flat out
lie
what it is,
and you don't want to beat around the bush too much. No pun intended. Or actually, you might want to.
You
might want.
Puns are fun, intended or not.
You're pretty good, Doc.
But my little girl found one of my books. God, what was it? Ride 'em Cowgirl or Tickle My Tush. It was one of the books
And
that
there's
had
illustrations in there.
tons of illustrations,
Yes.
and they're accessible. So the books are really easy to read.
Yeah.
Bullet points, so you can get in bed with your lover and point at a picture and say, "Let's try this, honey."
They're tastefully done.
Thank you.
Yes.
And so my daughter looked at one of the books and she found a picture of a man pleasuring a woman, and she came up to me with the book in her hand with the page open. Mommy, does Papa John do that to you? Does he do that to you? And she was so enthralled and excited and curious.
And you flipped a couple pages he does that usually.
I grabbed it from her. I said, "Give me that. What are you doing that?"
I would have said, "What are you talking about? The pizza guy?
Who's this?
Papa John?"
Yeah, she's Papa John. Yeah, she's really interested because she knows a little bit about what I do, but just none of the details. I help couples have better relationships.
Okay.
And I'm an author and that kind of thing. But
so you're
she's
very open about it, which is good.
Yeah, she's very sensual. As they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah, they do say that, don't they? Talking with Dr. Sadie Allison, by the way. And ladies and gentlemen, you can go ticklekitty.com is your website. And I see that you have a blog on there. Do you keep up to date with that pretty well?
Yeah, we've got one right there. It's all about the pleasure spot that I just posted a few days ago.
Nice.
It's pretty fun.
I'll be clicking that here before too long. And you're on Twitter as well.
Yep.
Dr. Sadie
Dr.
Allison.
Sadie, Instagram and Facebook is Dr. Sadie Allison. And by the way, the Womanizer product that we were talking about, the 60-second Big O's.
Is that guaranteed, by the way?
The
52%.
The product is actually a money-back guarantee.
Nice.
So if it doesn't work, I will actually give your money back.
Oh, and free shipping. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah,
Now
and
you actually come to somebody's house and hand them the money?
you sure do. Here you go.
For you.
Here's a Doc.
Nice and discreet.
And
Pull up in a van.
right, a van. And because it's National Pleasure Month, I'm actually giving for free a whole set of my books with lube and a bullet vibe with the Womanizer with every purchase.
Nice.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
Yeah, it is. It's $120.
Very generous, but I guess it all
Thanks.
ties in here.
Generous lover.
Yeah,
I
I
just
get
want
it.
everybody to have a good time, know the techniques.
You like Vegas?
I love Vegas.
Yeah. Where do you stay?
The Cosmopolitan.
that's Franny's
I'm
place.
getting married there in September.
Oh, are you? Oh, congratulations.
Thanks,
Oh, and in
thanks.
Vegas,
Would you like to
huh?
go?
Yeah.
She's looking for people to go.
Save the date, September 16th.
Trying to fill up the auditorium.
Maybe you could do a whole thing before the wedding.
We'll discuss, yeah.
I'll send you a care package for that evening if
That
you
would
like.
be awesome. It's my one of our friends who got married there, and he was like, listen, he was like, after you're done with the whole ceremony and the reception, he was like, make sure you go upstairs and you handle your business. He was like, because if not, you just get caught up in the whole Vegas and whatever's going on that you completely forget about it, about sealing the deal. Basically.
That'd be a good
So
thing for me, Doc.
he was like, make sure.
And if you do that, leave the Fitbit on. I want to see how many steps it gives you.
I'm going
How long they last.
Exactly.
I hear a lot of people don't actually seal the deal because they're too exhausted.
Drunk.
Yeah.
Or drunk. Yeah. And they're starving because they didn't eat before. You're talking to everybody
Yeah.
while you're there, so you have to make sure you eat beforehand. But then how do you get into your dress? See, there's so many things you have to think
So
about.
many.
Yeah,
Right.
in the morning,
It's hard
first thing
being a
you say
woman.
is thank you, because you've been saying thank you all night to people. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
No,
thank you for the gift.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to say a number between 1 and 20. I want you to pick a number. But think about it.
Okay.
1 and 20. Pick a number.
4.
4. Okay?
There it is. Now we got to ask you a really important question.
All right.
Hopefully 4 coincides with who do you like in the Derby?
We're going to bet a horse tomorrow. So we're going to bet the 4 horse because of you. The Kentucky Derby is tomorrow.
You got a doctorate.
Yeah, you got to be pretty smart.
Pretty smart.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the Kentucky Derby?
Yeah, but I don't know all the. Are you asking for a horse name?
Yeah.
No, we just picked number 1 to 20.
Yeah,
So
number 4.
All right, so
Yeah,
good.
4
We're
it
going
is.
to go with 4.
4 or 16. That's my birthday. 16.
Or 16.
4 or 16.
4. Mo Tom. I like Mo Tom.
Mo Tom.
Yeah.
What's 16?
16 is Shaggiff.
Let's go with Mo.
To 4.
I don't know, shaggif, kind of like shagging. You're
Almost. I was hoping it was going to be shagging, but then the if threw me off.
Shaguf or F. I know it's AF.
What are some of the other names? I'll pick out a cool name.
Well, our buddy Novacek emailed us the other day. He's like, I might have to put my money on Trojan Nation.
Trojan.
You know there's no danger of him pulling out.
Johnny C, everybody, 10 to 2.
And I was like, no, you're right. He's been training well there in Kentucky. I'm pretty sure he's going to race on Saturday.
So tomorrow night when the race is on, or you might hear about it, you'll think about it. Yes, I was on the Penthouse yesterday, and the 4 wins, we'll text you.
All right, and then you can pay me some money.
Of course I would. No problem. We're
Come on, Greek.
What do you want, 50-50 or 80-20?
Sure, well, it's my number, so. 80-20 for me.
80-20.
I was going to give you 80-20.
Way too
Do you often win when you gamble? How's your luck?
No, absolutely not. No. No gambler always wins. You win sometimes and you lose sometimes. That's just the truth. If we're being honest. I mean, gamblers will tell you, I win, but there's days you get your ass kicked and there's days you kick ass. I'm going to Vegas in a couple weeks. They're flying me out there.
Oh, nice.
Put me in a penthouse suite. So
Because
obviously
they know
I'm
he's
not a
going to
winner.
lose his ass. Yeah.
Obviously I'm not a winner.
If you listen to our show, though, Greek only really remembers the losses. It's like the only thing that moves his needle anymore.
Yeah.
The big
It's a
wins.
needle, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Needle in a haystack.
There might be a book for that, Greek.
We might be right in some. Nobody wants to hear about the good times. You want to hear about the bad times because it makes everybody feel better about their life. That's what it's all about. If you hear you lost 10 grand, they're like, "Oh, great!"
Right?
Yeah,
Now I feel better.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
You're having a worse day.
Yeah,
Right.
You've had bad days, but at the end of the day, it's good.
So comparatively, I know you walked in and you said, "Wow, this is a really nice studio." Would you say your last hour you spent in the Penthouse was a good hour?
It was extremely pleasurable.
Was it?
Yeah, because you guys are really cool, true pros. I've been on some shows where they don't have their stuff
Well, we got
together.
you
You
fools.
guys, yeah. Well, you did a good job.
Over there. She's got blinders on.
Wow, you want to talk about faking
Yeah.
it? The Oscar handed to us. Johnny and Franny are pros. I'm not.
You're a pro at what you do too. No, I really enjoyed you guys. You guys got your stuff together. You're very kind and sweet to us and beautiful.
Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that because I know you've done a lot of radio and you'll continue to do a lot of radio. So I like to just make sure you enjoyed yourself because I don't want you walking out of here going, "Put that under, never again."
Thanks so much. See, you are a generous lover. Generously loving right now.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate
We
that.
want you to be happy.
I appreciate that.
you
Thank
know.
you.
Don't forget to check.
It's going to bounce to you.
Right.
We're also going to get a check.
I'm sending you the
want it
bounce one.
certified. This isn't my first rodeo.
All right, money order.
Now, I do have a question though. Like, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, and I know you're on Twitter, and maybe they can tweet you, or and they want just one-on-one advice. Do you do that?
I do that when I have time.
Okay.
So if you go to ticklekitty.com, we have a contact page.
Okay.
Yeah, my assistant will let me know anything that comes through. She'll forward it to me. It's for me.
Got it.
So that would be a good way. Or social media. I'm
Yeah.
on there all the time, too.
Because I'm sure when you do stuff like this, people are like, "Oh, I have so many questions." You know, I mean, obviously they can pick up one of your books, but other than that, I would just want to know if there's a way to actually be on like one-on-one with you.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you get a lot of stuff from Palm Beach, Frank, it's Franny.
That's my alias.
As we're getting super late on time here, I do got to know, has there ever been that one question that somebody gave to you where you just really had no idea how to answer it?
Like this one?
Yeah, okay. I guess there it is.
You won.
Ding, ding, ding.
Most of the questions that I can't answer are usually like super medical ones where you really need to consult with a OBG or something like that.
And that's your answer. I'm not a doctor necessarily.
Not a medical doctor in that way.
PhD, right.
Not a medical doctor, and I would never give advice to someone for something that I didn't know about, and that's going to affect their health. So I'm the pleasure doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've made a career of giving advice we don't know anything about.
Yeah, absolutely. Although we have had to utter the words, definitely not an attorney, but I might go see one if I were you.
So Johnny C., how do you keep your marriage alive? What would you say the secret to the success is of having a healthy marriage?
I would say happy wife, happy life. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's very smart.
And my wife struggles with that because she's like, well, I want you to be happy too. I'm like, baby, you don't understand. If you're happy, I am thrilled.
Yep.
That's very nice. You don't find that in a lot of guys.
But
Do you believe in
And
it?
you guys have that. Franny has that.
Yeah.
And again, she's my wife because we have so much in common, right? And I know they say opposites attract, but if you're going to say I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you, that's somebody that you have a lot of commonality.
Right.
So if she's happy, then with so much commonality, I'm pretty inherently going to be happy. So it seems to have worked so far.
I agree with that. When I've asked someone else that, and I think it was my uncle, and he said, you got to like them.
Oh, yeah.
You have to like, because you can love someone and not like them.
Sure.
So true.
So you have to like the
They have
person.
to be your friend.
You have to enjoy. Yeah.
You should
and
root
you have,
for them like you root for your favorite team.
there you go.
I'm going to destroy Greek right now, but she's definitely my best friend. Greek, I don't mean it.
It's good.
We went on a trip one time. I brought a picture of my wife, and he was so, he gave me the silent treatment. I was like, what's wrong, Greek? He's like, I noticed there's not a picture of me over there next to you.
Why you got a picture of your wife? Really? You kidding me?
Greek's parting words brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka.
I hope you guys learned a lot in the last hour because you could always learn more stuff. Take it
Absolutely,
from
all
me.
of us.
Nobody's disappointed more women than me.
Dr. Sadie Allison, thank you for your time.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me, you
Yeah,
guys.
thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Pleasure, and good to meet you as well, John.